Hello everyone, my name is Ryan Cam, and it's the first Saturday of the month, so you all know what that means. It's time for the Movie Nerds Club to assemble yet again and talk about our top 5 long-running franchises. There's going to be a bit of criteria for this one. Basically, the franchise in question has to have about 5 movies or longer. That's the criteria that was set for all of us. So unfortunately, great trilogies like, say, Back to the Future or The Lord of the Rings can't be included because there are only 3 movies. And even if you wanted to count Lord of the Rings, you would also have to lump in The Hobbit. And I like the Hobbit movies, but I get why people wouldn't. So, and I didn't want to put it on the list because there would be a technicality. But if a franchise has 5 movies or more, then it is fair game, and I think I have a pretty diverse 5, so let's dive into the list. But first, let's talk about my honorable mentions, and I have quite a few. The DCEU. I like the DCU. I think I like it a lot more than the average person. However, I do recognize that the bad installments in this are very, very bad. See the Justice League or Suicide Squad, not the Suicide Squad coming up. Not to mention all the controversy surrounding it just makes the DCEU not really a fun thing to talk about. Even though I like it, I have to make it an honorable mention. The Fast and the Furious. I genuinely love the first 3 movies here. Fast and the Furious, Too Fast, Too Furious, and Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift are all awesome. And then after like 4 and 5, there was something about them that just made me look forward to them less and less, because they just all started to kind of blend together with all of the new characters coming in and the new storylines. And in the upcoming one, you got John Cena as Dom's younger brother and stuff with magnets, and I've just kind of become desensitized to the whole thing. What makes Fast and Furious an honorable mention is the first 3 movies, because not only do I have a significant amount of nostalgia for them, but all 3 of them, Tokyo Drift included and focused on, are actually better than you remember. The Bourne franchise. If they had just kept it at a trilogy, I think it would be among the greatest trilogies of all time. Identity, Supremacy, and Ultimatum are a perfect 3-act or 3-movie structure. And then they had to make The Bourne Legacy and Jason Bourne. And I don't hate those movies, but it's clear that they wanted to do more with this series when the series was already just completed with Ultimatum. It literally, Ultimatum meaning ending. I'm going to have a video talking about the Bourne movies coming up on the channel very soon, so stay tuned for that. I'll go into more detail there, but until then, I love the first 3, but the rest are just subpar, which is why it's an honorable mention. And finally, and this is probably going to give me the most heat, Star Wars. Now, I love Star Wars as much as the next person. I don't know if you can see it behind me, but I have the original. Actually, I'll grab it. I have the original Star Wars VHS set. I bought this at my library for 25 cents. Best 25 cents I've ever spent. So I am not putting Star Wars as an honorable mention to try to be controversial or something like that. Far from it. I think that the original trilogy is amazing. I have a soft spot for the prequel trilogy, though I do recognize its flaws. And I love the Clone Wars and a lot of the books and video games that have come out. It's the sequel trilogy that knocks it down to an honorable mention. I don't want to kick the hornet's nest of the sequel trilogy. The movies just were not for me. If you enjoy them, that's cool. You are more than happy to like them. But for me personally, just the sequels and just the endless bickering over what made a faithful Star Wars movie just drained me physically, mentally, and emotionally. I don't care to see another Star Wars movie in theaters for about 20 years, or at least until I become a father for the first time. Honestly, Star Wars being on Disney Plus is done wonders for them. With The Mandalorian and The Bad Batch, which I still have to watch the rest of the episodes, but is still good. So I keep it an honorable mention just because it has been good in the past, but it has taken a significant dip in quality, at least for me. So, if you haven't clicked off the video already, those are my honorable mentions, and now let's get into the main list, starting with number 5. Number 5, Godzilla. I love kaiju movies, whether it's Godzilla, King Kong, Ghidorah, Gamera, so on and so forth. You give me a good kaiju movie and I will love you forever. And whether you want things to be a little more serious, like with the 1954 version, whether you like things a little sillier, like, say, Godzilla vs. the Smog Monster, or if you like the modern stuff, or everything in between, Godzilla has just been so vast and so everlasting over the past 5 decades that there really is something for everybody. It's only at number 5 for me because there are definitely some bad eggs of the bunch, and even ones that are so bad they're amazing. But for its everlasting impact, it is among my favorite franchises, and Godzilla vs. Kong has only galvanized that. Now, before I go on to number 4, I just have one simple request. Rachel, I know you run a podcast with Conrado called The Criterion Project. Well, the Showa era of Godzilla is now in the Criterion Collection. And that means that Godzilla vs. Megalon is in the Criterion Collection, a movie which features Godzilla drop-kicking Megalon while being held up by Jet Jaguar, a kaiju that was created literally by a Japanese school kid. I cannot make that up. I need a critical analysis of that movie. Please, for me, Rachel, your very dear friend. Number 4, Harry Potter. I haven't watched the Harry Potter films in a very long time, but I watched them a lot in my childhood, and I love them. I love them all equally. They were made around a time when Harry Potter was like the hottest thing in the world, and it still is in a sense, but after The Sorcerer's Stone was written, it was Harry Potter mania running wild. Like, kids couldn't get enough of it, myself included. They could have made just any slapdash thing they wanted to, but they put genuine effort into this movie. They hired A-list actors. They got good child performances out of Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, and Rupert Grint. And what made the series special is that you saw them grow from these little kids to these adults, basically. And as you saw them grow up, you saw the movies mature along with them. So you start out with Sorcerer's Stone as this big and warm movie, and it does have its dark elements, but these big and lively feeling movies directed by Chris Columbus. And by the end, there's these very dark and gritty movies directed by David Heyman. And the directors of these movies include the likes of Alfonso Cuarón and Mike Newell, and those are no slouches. This franchise is only at number 4 because the Fantastic Beasts movies have definitely taken it to a bit of a dip in quality. It just feels like they're trying to squeeze the lemon for more juice when there is no juice to be had in terms of movie-wise. But for the memories it has given me, I will put it at number 4 as one of my favorites. Number 3, Mission Impossible. The first 3 Mission Impossible movies are kind of overlooked, and I really enjoy them. The first one is just great. It's directed by Brian De Palma, it's got all sorts of experimental camera work, and the Langley scene is genuinely just pins and needles level tense. Mission Impossible 2 is the worst of the series, and it is way too over the top, though I kinda love it. Mission Impossible 3 is the dark horse of the group. It's directed by J.J. Abrams, and I think it's subtly Abrams' best movie, other than Super 8. And then, Ghost Protocol, which is the best one, you heard me, Rogue Nation, and Fallout recently, have just catapulted this franchise into the stratosphere. This series is basically Tom Cruise proving that he's crazier than Mick Foley in 1998, But I really don't care. These movies never cease to amaze me. I have no idea how long these movies are going to continue, even though Tom Cruise is almost in his 60s. He looks like he's in his 20s. I think he found the fountain of youth and he's hiding it from us. But as long as these movies keep getting made, I'm going to see them. I want Ethan Hunt in space. Do it, you cowards. Number 2, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Predictable choice? Yes, and I'm pretty sure that the MCU will be on my fellow contributors list. And that's no judging. I'm saying that as a bit of a compliment, because the MCU, to take a quote from Nick Fury, started out as an idea. A simple idea. And it has just grown into just a juggernaut. We really wouldn't know characters like Iron Man, or pretty much all the Guardians of the Galaxy, or Loki, or any of these other hosts of characters without the MCU. And really, it's not just because of the uniqueness of the characters that is a draw. These are just genuinely really fun movies to watch and very well made. I've seen essays about how the MCU is like the death of cinema, and Martin Scorsese is clearly no fan. And also how all MCU movies are the same, they have a formula, and they've just become boring now. And to a certain extent, I do see what they're saying, but at the same time, you have movies like Infinity War, Endgame, the original Avengers, Solo Iron Man, the first Guardians of the Galaxy. I could talk about this franchise for days, and you could talk about like just how much of quality these movies are. Even some of the lesser ones like Thor 2 or Iron Man 2 at least have their redeeming qualities, at least for me. I have no idea how long the MCU could go, feasibly anyway, but as long as they keep going, I am going to see it. And I think that Kevin Feige is a made man, officially. Like, he took a massive lump of clay and he made a Michelangelo out of it. He's a miracle worker. And my number 1 long-running franchise of all time is the James Bond franchise. I knew I liked James Bond when I saw Casino Royale in 2006 in the theaters, and wow, a 9-year-old me was very shocked at certain scenes involving that. But it was actually last year, during the stupid virus and the lockdowns and everything, where we all really couldn't go anywhere, that Amazon Prime did a very nice thing and uploaded all of the non-Craig James Bond movies, from Dr. No up to Die Another Day. And I binged through all of them, and I just loved all of them. There are definitely some stinkers. A View to a Kill and Die Another Day immediately jump to mind, but it's rare to have a series like this where the same central character is the draw. You could walk up to a random stranger and be like, James Bond, and they know immediately what you're talking about. The tuxedos, the martinis, the guns, the gadgets, the cars, the Bond girls. And with James Bond, there's something for everybody. If you like things more lighthearted, then there are several Roger Moore films that are definitely for you. If you like things with a harder edge, Timothy Dalton's 2 Bond films are definitely your speed. And every actor brings something unique and different to the role. It's not just same guy doing the same things. Sean Connery did things differently than what Roger Moore ended up doing. George Lazenby did different things than what Daniel Craig did, and so on and so forth. With No Time to Die finally coming into theaters, and Daniel Craig giving his swan song for this role, I think this series will be going into a bit of a stasis, especially considering that James Bond has new owners. That means that a new Bond will be cast, and if you're taking notes, here are my choices for him. But whatever they end up doing, I'm going to be there day one. And it's that adaptability and just general likableness, I suppose, that makes James Bond my favorite franchise of all time. Well, that is all for me, guys. Thank you so much, as always, for watching. Please check out my fellow contributors to the Movie Nerds Club. Their videos will be linked in the description. I'm a fan of all of them, so please do check it out. And if you'd like to check out more of my Movie Nerds Club videos, there will be a playlist link in the right-hand corner. And as far as this channel goes, tomorrow, being Sunday, I'm going to be dropping another big video for you guys, and it's going to be my deep dive into one of my all-time favorite comedies. It is 1980's The Blues Brothers. But if you like this video, please be sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below, and if you like this video and you want to see more like it, hit the subscribe button and click the bell to allow notifications. That way, when a new video drops, you'll be the first to know about it. My name is Ryan Cam. I'll see you in the next one.